If you're looking to gain more funding and support for your robotics team, you need a brand board. Because without it, your robotics team's branding is inconsistent, amateur looking, and unpolished. But here's the truth. Most robotics teams don't have one. And it's preventing their team from standing out and being memorable. So today, I'm going to walk you through how to create this valuable team asset. And by the end of this video, you're going to have a professional looking team brand board that you can use to get your next sponsorship. But the real question will be, how will you utilize it to transform your team's marketing? Now, the best platform to create this is Canva. You can certainly create this in Google Docs, Word, Photoshop, or any other graphic designer. But Canva is going to drastically reduce the amount of time and effort you're going to need to put in to make this. So that's where I'm going to go. The really interesting thing is this. Once you have this asset created, you can tweak it as much as you'd like, including creating it in a whole different software for better collaboration and sharing with others. The nice part about Canva is it's completely free. And the second best part about Canva is that if you're part of an educational program, you can get a pro license also for free. Now, I'm going to be using the pro version of Canva today, but if you're someone watching this and you don't have the pro version, I'm going to show you how to make this in the free version of Canva as well, or whatever graphic editor you want. Also, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to show you a great tool that Canva has in the pro version to make your life 10 times easier making content in the future. There are many components you can put on your brand board, but not all of them are necessary. So I'm going to lay out the things that are non-negotiable that we absolutely need to have, and then I'll lay out the optional things that are just nice to have. Your team's logo variations are the first things that we're going to want to include. This should be your primary logo or the main one that you use most often, along with any secondary and alternate layouts as well. If you have any icons like initials or symbols, make sure to include those as well. Next, we'll want to include our team's color palette. These will include your primary colors, secondary colors, and any accent colors. But here's a really important part that we don't want to forget. Make sure to include the hex codes, RGB, or CMYK values so you can use these colors consistently going forward. Now, if you don't know the hex codes for your team's colors and you've been guessing every time, I have an easy to use tool that will identify the hex codes of any color. We're going to go to imagecolorpicker.com, upload your logo, and let the software generate the hex codes for us. Then if there's a particular part of your logo that you really want to know the hex code for, just mouse over it and it will show you the hex code for that particular color. This next portion of your brand board is going to set the tone for how people view your brand. It can make your brand feel silly, whimsical, serious, or edgy. What exactly am I talking about here? I'm talking about typography, or the types of fonts that you use for your team. Now, I am not a typographer or someone who is a master at utilizing fonts. I'm not going to speak to which fonts are best at utilizing for certain things. But what I do know is this. Use a font that when you see it, it makes you think of your team's personality. If your team is quirky or silly, then using a font that is more rounded, like a sans font, may be the way to go. Or if your team is more serious and professional, then try using a font that's more straight edge and square. The fonts I use for MarketingRobots are Montserrat Black for my headers, Montserrat Semi-Bold for my body, and Segoe Script for any quotes or accents. These three components are must-haves for every brand board, non-negotiable. I told you, however, I show you some things that are, in my opinion, optional. But having these components will refine your brand consistency even more. If you know what kind of imagery your team goes for, then including images or photos that portray that style to photographers on your team can help them to know what kinds of pictures to take. This can also include guidelines for where and how your logo should be used and placed, or when you use header fonts, body fonts, or accent fonts. If you have any filters or editing rules, this is a great place to include those types of policies as well. Background textures, branded patterns, or other types of iconography styles like lines or shapes can be included here as well. If your team doesn't have any of these assets, no worries. The nice thing is, when you do start to develop some of these styles, you can come back and update your brand board at any time. Now, this last portion is also totally optional, but it can be the biggest game changer for how consistent your team's branding is across various platforms. And that is including your brand voice and tone. Have you ever looked at a team's social media page and seen variations in the way their social media posts sound? One post is super short and barely has any detail, while another post has personality, attitude, emojis, and humor in it. And you can easily tell that these two posts were written by two completely different people. This is the problem with not having a consistent brand voice. You ask a student or mentor to post something, and even though they have the logo, the colors, the fonts, it just doesn't sound like your team. So if you have a certain style that you want your team's identity to reflect or sound like when you make content, consider putting together brand voice guidelines so that no matter who makes content for your team, it still sounds like your team. Now, if you're using the pro version of Canva, here's a bonus tip for you. There's a brand kit option on the side. This allows you to add your logo, colors, fonts, and other assets by default. So every time you make content in Canva, it will have those things set for you, and you won't need to make any changes. This has saved me so much time when it comes to making visuals for my brand. By printing this out and making it visible in your robotics space, everyone who makes content for your team can make sure your marketing materials are consistent across the board. So there you have it, a powerful asset that your team can now utilize going forward to make content that is polished, professional, and memorable. So the next time you talk to a future sponsor, they'll remember you a lot better and have a much higher likelihood of wanting to support your team. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more marketing content like this. And let me know in the comments below, is there another asset that you'd like to learn how to make so that you can improve your team's marketing? If so, I'll make sure to make a video about it. Thanks again, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.